What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Real Talk 447. My name's Jeff Emig, and of course, I'm joined by my buddy Ricky Carmichael, coming to us all the way from Florida. Rick, are you there, Rick?
Bro.
Hello, can you hear me? Rick.
Dude, you like that, don't you?
Oh, my Lord.
You can't do anything right. You know that, right?
Never. Well, neither can you, evidently.
No.
Technical
It's
difficulties.
okay. You know what? Hey, it's a good thing we don't do this for a living, right? We just do it because we're having fun, and it's a good time talking shop with you. And
although it would be nice to have a sponsor, so we at least didn't pay for it out of our pockets, so at least we're in the black.
Yeah, that's okay. We get to do what we do. We do this because we love it. We ain't trying to make it our full-time job and make a living off of it. So we're in pretty damn good spots, bud. What do you think?
Yeah, and that's – I don't know what's with these people having to make fun of us, like laughing at us, not laughing with us. Like, you know, I think it's rad that when you were in, what was it, Vail, Aspen? Where do you go?
Aspen.
So we had that technical difficulty. Dude, you end up having to do this show for our fans from your phone.
Yeah, I was doing it from my phone, and then my battery died.
Didn't you say that when you're on dad duty, like when you did that trip with Kate and Elise, like you don't bring any tablets or anything, yeah?
No.
So the chances are they might have been draining your phone battery a little bit. Or no?
No, it was.
That's all
I wasn't in a great area, as far as cell reception. So then it was drawing more power. So.
Dude, and then I didn't understand when I seen those tweets from, it was like Rick, are you there? I was like, what the hell is this? Like, what? I don't even know. I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you hear the story or whatever. Daniel tells you that it was some other podcasters in our world here.
I'm glad they're listening,
making fun of us. Exactly. At least they're listening.
They're doing more than what I'm doing. That's for sure.
Can they mention it on their show so we can pump up our numbers a little bit? Yeah, I don't know. That's just not very cool, dude. I was pretty.
I'm just glad I don't do it for a living, man.
Yeah, I mean,
right? We do.
But sorry, I got my own problems right now. My wires here all crossed up, but. I love this platform of podcasting. It's been super fun. We're on our 11th show, right?
Yeah, 11th, man. And that's crazy.
Yeah, and people seem to like what we're doing. We're just doing our thing, so that's pretty cool. And it gives, as opposed to, let's say, 20 years ago, you were racing 10, 11 years ago, but really it was like TV or a website or a magazine. And now this podcasting platform gives a lot of people a voice, like our buddy Daniel Blair that you're doing the show with. His show, Main Event Moto, actually has been going a couple of years now. He got picked up, so he's with Racer X now. So that's got to give his voice a big boost. And then, of course, our buddy Debo.
Our man.
So our second guest here on Real Talk was Denny Stevenson. I hope you guys caught that episode, but he's got his podcast going now called Debo's Absurd After Party, which I lived that with him for like 20 years. Now the essence of what Debo's Absurd After Party is actually a podcast. So, and I hear he's gonna have Rick Johnson on, so it should be pretty rad. That should be a good episode.
I saw his post. That's cool. I'm pumped, and that's his hero. His lifelong hero. So anytime
I love it. Yeah.
Dude, you're my hero, Jeff, and I get to do it every week with you, man.
Yeah, and not only that, you pay to do that.
Right.
That's how much we love being around each other. Let's pay to hang out with each other for an hour every Tuesday morning. So, and I would, just as far as the podcast, I mean, everybody at DMXS, that crew, those guys have been around since before podcasts were around. I mean, they're old as shit, right? But have you caught what they do when Kevin does the Civil War letter things?
Yeah. Oh, dude, yeah.
I didn't even know what they were, and then all of a sudden I caught the Cooper Webb one. Dude, so David and Kevin at DMXS, they write these Civil War letters, and Kevin reads it like it's
good,
1863, and they're writing letters home. Oh my God! So
the Tomac one was good.
I didn't catch that one. I'm gonna check that one out.
Oh, dude, it was Oh, the Tomac one is good. He did that one in the summer, I believe. It was good though.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm
awesome.
saying. So I support all the ones out there, and we appreciate everybody listening to us and letting us do what we do, and especially everybody that tuned in last week when we did that special episode with Dean Wilson from Faye Myers Motorcycle World in Denver. Dude.
That place was rocking, wasn't it? Like,
so
I couldn't get there early enough for the autograph session, but you were there and you were doing your thing for Shift Moto. And did you have anything to do for Husqvarna there?
Well, dude, I just kind of bring me these days and just kind of scatter a little bit of the dust around and just, it was.
Place is rocking.
Obviously, they're a massive Fox Racing and Shift MX dealer for us. When I got there an hour and a half before the official thing, so it started at 7, so I was there at 5:30. That line, they zigzagged the line all through the dealership. I heard that there were over 1,600 people came through the door. And the shit thing about these autograph sessions like that and these appearances, these athlete appearances, I mean, they had a pretty kick-ass lineup. McGrath was there, Reed was there, like Wilson, and then you name it. There was a host. Pro Circuit was there, Husqvarna, Suzuki guys, all of the Cowie guys, Tomac and everybody.
It was star-studded for sure.
Oh yeah, it was insane. And the problem with that though is how the autograph session works is you're first in line, you get to see everybody. Well, there were over 1,600 people that came to that dealership to Faye Myers that night to see these guys. They're there from 7 to 8 or 6 to 7, I guess it was 6 to 7, right? At 7 o'clock, these athletes have to leave. They have to go eat. Their obligation is done. Trust me, these athletes, they do not want to get up and leave, 800 people or more hanging. I mean, I don't know. How many people could get through that in an hour? 250, 300 maybe? What do you think? I was talking to JH about it. He says you can do...
No way 300.
Okay, so there's 1,300 people that came through the door that didn't get their experience with their athlete.
I would say,
and it's so disappointing.
I would say 200 on max, because things just take time, especially now with devices. People want to take pictures, and I understand that, and so that slows down the line. And most of the time, especially, this is what I learned from you, Jeff, and it really helped me later on in my career as I was doing autograph sessions. I really admired how you took the time, you introduced yourself to the person, to the fan, and you asked what their name was, making small talk and conversation. It goes a long way. I feel like some of the riders, especially the older ones, are doing that now, and so that slows down the line also, but they're really getting that one-on-one. I wouldn't know the right word to say it. They're getting that time with their hero that they've always wanted and looked forward to, maybe someday having, and that slows it down. So I would say no less than 100, no more than 200.
Well, yeah, and this is what always baffled me about athletes that look at doing those events like, oh, I don't want to do this. There were certain athletes in this last 10 years didn't want to do that stuff. And so the head of his racing program said, okay, no problem. If you don't want to do that, all you want to do is race and win races, great, no problem. Then we're going to pay you half as much. Because half of what we pay you is to win races. The other half is for you to help us sell motorcycles. So if you don't want to help us sell motorcycles, that's fine. We'll just write that out of your contract. You don't have to stick around for autograph session to race. You don't have to go to any dealer appearances. You don't have to go to the yearly dealer convention. No problem. But we're going to pay you half as much. What do you think the agent said to that? Right? No, they're not. So, but here's my thing. Like, for any athlete that resists that, what do you think these people are there for? In your whole career, has anybody walked up to you and be like, hey, Ricky, just want to let you know, I think you're the biggest piece of shit ever, and I hope that you lose this weekend and crash and break your leg? Did anybody ever say?
They've never said that verbatim, but yeah. I mean,
you know what I'm saying? Even the hardcore anti-Carmichael fan is still going to show you respect. The other 99.999% of the people that walk up to you being like, Ricky, here's my son, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I've been a big fan. Man, I love you. I really support what you do. All these great things. Dude, I wish I could go someplace every Friday evening and have somebody pat me on the back for an hour, right? Like I could use that every now and then. I don't do those things that much, but imagine
you most certainly don't get that from me either.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine the average guy. He gets done with work on Friday. He goes someplace, and for an hour, people come up and go, "Hey, man, I really appreciate what you do." Average guy or girl, I should say, right? Wouldn't it? So why would you not want to embrace that? And so that's why. I really applaud. I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of dealers that we've been to, but Faye Myers Motorcycle World in Denver did a fantastic job with their dealer appearance. They're a great dealer. So
we came across a lot. We came across a lot of good ones. I mean, when we were teammates at Cowie, especially dealers that you've gone to for 10 years in a row, 10 years in a row, you almost build a relationship with these owners. They take good care of you. When I say take good care of you, they're nice. You know what I mean? Just go out of their way to make sure the accommodations are good and everything is accessible, easy. Everything is kind of turnkey at the signing. You learn to appreciate those. And then you end up seeing them at the dealer shows or the conventions later on, in the off season, and you talk to them there away from a race environment. Things are a little bit more relaxed. Maybe have a drink with them. And it's fun, and to this day you see people and you're able to have, a candid conversation with them.
Well, and these days, the motorcycle dealership world has changed so much. It was changing during my time. There were a lot of mom and pops dealerships still, and now the mom and pops have either had to adapt and grow. Most dealerships are multi-line, so they're selling jet skis in the summer, UTVs, ATVs in the winter. They're selling motorcycles, they're selling cruisers, motocross, whatever. Have you ever been to one that was crappy?
I went to one time. We were racing in Unadilla, but we were staying in Utica. And remember back in the day, Cowie would line up limos to take us.
Oh, yeah, we had limousines to take us. Yeah.
So for some reason, you didn't go to that one. Maybe you drove on your own, but Cowie kind of made it mandatory where you had to ride in the limo. Now, some of these places I went to, these limo drivers were driving incredibly slow. Keep in mind, it's a Friday night. We're racing on Saturday. This is in Supercross. And you just want to get the heck out of there and get to dinner and get some sleep, because it becomes a late night on the night before races. Well, going back to Unadilla, dude, we drove for probably an hour and a half in the middle of nowhere, and I shit you not, there's probably 5 people there. And we stayed for an hour.
I can't say mine had 5 people. Man, my cable, this thing's ticking me off. But so your requirement is, okay, you're going to be there from 6 to 7. That's your obligation. Even if there's 5 people, if you really embrace it, yes, it kind of kicks the ego a little bit. You're like, damn, I thought I maybe had more followers back in this area. But then you have to get your attitude straight and go, okay. Yes, this sucks. It's a bit embarrassing. Yeah, right. It's even a little bit more for if there was other teammates, right? At least they have comfort to like, hey, only 5 people came to see Ricky, so you don't get caught up with it. But then that's when you just kick the boots up, go, hey man, show me the shop. What are you guys all about, right? Sit down. I mean,
that's what I admire.
These days, I would knock back a cold beer with one of them if that was the case. Be like, good, let's sign these autographs and let's hang out. Let's have some fun. And normally, when you get real with everyone, whether it's the fans or the owners, it ends up being very memorable. But Bradshaw Dubach and I think it was 1991 Yamaha. We went to a mom and pop shop, and it was somewhere outside of Pittsburgh. And the shop wasn't any bigger than this studio that I'm in here in Orange County. I mean, the dealership was probably 1,500 square feet, Yamaha dealership. It probably had like 5 motorcycles on the floor. It was the epitome of the mom and pop shop that's just not going to make it in as time ticked on and the motorcycle dealership world changed. And it was like we roll up, and Bradshaw, of course, he always had a bit of an attitude about stuff like that. And I don't remember it exactly, but I have a good, like, the essence of how he would have handled it. He would have not been happy with these people. But whatever. Hey, Faye Myers did a great job, and I really look forward to visiting the dealers that I do. So my attitude about it has completely changed. So it's cool.
Yeah.
Also wanted to thank Jason Crane. He's part of that crew that does Red Bull Moto Spy. He came out and filmed that. We had a few audio issues like normal. That seems to be our thing when we're on location like that. But
we're okay with that, though,
Dean
right?
Wilson, Dean Wilson, dude. When I was working through some of those clips to put on social media this week, I mean, I was laughing my ass off the whole time. That dude is so funny. He's got so much flavor.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and when we talk about real talk, our name, dude, he was real talk. Army crawling.
Hold on, Ricky. I got a story I want to tell you guys. I got a story I want to tell you. The Army crawl with his knees blown out was hilarious. Hey, and
we appreciate his honesty.
Yeah, and the stuff with Grandpa Earl and all that was awesome. So, Dean, sorry to hear that you got hurt the next day. So hopefully he's at home right now listening in, or he'll be listening in once I post this one up and get it going. So, all right. Well, speaking of Denver, dude, it was cold and it snowed during the race.
No, I mean during practice. Yeah, it was crazy. Like, the weatherman was wrong a little bit. It wasn't supposed to snow that day, but it was cool. It was a cool experience. Those guys were out there getting after it, though, Jeff. They were straight going for it. It was fun to watch. I got some video. Probably made for some cool still photos also.
Yeah, but, especially when you use a long lens and you could get the snow in between, right? Yeah, it was rad. And so then it was pretty cold though in the night. Like,
it was cold, but then actually the wind died down, and the sun came out for the last round of practice, last time qualifying practice. Dude, it dried up so fast, but ended up being okay. It ended up being okay. Dry, got actually hard packed. It would have been better had it stayed overcast the whole day, but it didn't rain. So I bet a lot of people were happy it didn't rain. And one of those guys would probably be Cooper Webb.
Yeah, stadium was full. Track looked hard packed.
The crowd was rocking, man. It was so awesome. They were so energetic. Obviously, they were going for their man, Eli Tomac. He rose to the occasion at his home race. That was fun to watch. I mean, they were banging their feet on the ground. That stadium was just going for it. It was a lot of fun. Kind of gives you chills thinking about it, and it was cool.
Did you see John Elway cruising around up there in the suite level or anything?
He didn't make it out for Monster Energy Supercross. I was a little bummed.
No, he's the one that missed out. If he wasn't there, then he missed out.
100%.
We'll show him how to make that stadium rock, right?
That's right.
That's right. Except for when the Chiefs come in town. My Chiefs. Dude, Tomac kicked their ass. Like, how does he ride so like that? To me, that's a level. I mean, what he was doing with the bike, and he was just like, when I watched the race back, I was just like, holy shit. Like, why not do that every week? How can he? I'm sure he wishes. How could he not? Why does he not do that every week?
I mean, I'm sure he wishes he could.
I know. You're the analyst in this position, dude. You're the 5-time, however many Supercross wins you got. 48. 48 times you've been in that situation. How does he? Well,
he had some extra motivation because it was his hometown race, and quite honestly, for the championship, there's no pressure for him. I mean, you know the deal. We've seen him. When you have nothing to lose and everything to gain, it's much easier to ride to your capabilities. When you have everything to lose, it's a little bit different role, and it takes a little different mentality to ride like that when there's everything to lose. And that's why I think you saw the performance that he put on.
Yeah, and Webb,
plain and simple.
We talked about straight up. Yeah, we talked about it a couple shows ago, but like, man, where Cooper Webb's at, when he didn't get a good start, I was like, what's going to happen here? And for him to ride up to second, that was a championship ride. Yes, he couldn't keep up with Tomac on the night. Tomac, well, nobody in the world could. You literally watch one of the greatest rides of the season. But for Webb to ride through the pack up to second, I thought was real championship caliber also.
Well, he knew that he had to minimize the damage. And what I was surprised, once he got into third, he made up a lot of time on his teammate, Marvin Musquin. And I felt like that was the nail in the coffin for Marvin Musquin for his teammate that he had been faster than the last 4 weeks. Wouldn't you say? I mean, hands down, he's been faster than Webb the last 4 weeks. And, dude, Webb caught him, passed him, and put over 5 seconds on him. I think almost 10 at the end of the
No. But if you listen, if you follow social media and you listen to the keyboard warriors, our one buddy on Twitter, he says that it's team orders. That Musquin, the reason he was horrible through the whoops in Denver is because it was team orders.
Come on, dude.
You know the guy I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I appreciate him. I appreciate you listening and watching the show. You know who you are. But it's like every week, like, see, told you, team orders. Shit, man. I don't think so.
Oh, the one guy, he said one time that, they have it, the Feld has it sorted out. They want Webb to be champion. And I'm like, if they could sort out who they wanted to win, wouldn't you think it'd be one of the guys that are sponsored by the series sponsor?
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah. Being in the live events business like Feld is, where everything is choreographed from Marvels to Disney on Ice, all of that, formerly Ringling Brothers Circus, Monster Jam, all of that. Feld would, if they could script this, if they were allowed to, they would. But this ain't how it works. And it's certainly not. I mean, could you imagine a scenario where DeCoster and Ian Harrison and John Hines, the president of KTM, are like, okay, all right, sorry, Marvin, but we're gonna make sure Webb has this.
No, but I do think I think you're gonna see some fireworks this weekend.
With Webb and Musquin?
No. I think that because you see, the Savacci didn't make it easy on Webb to get by.
They got history, and Savacci's trying to get his. He's trying to get a little nugget, where a guy that he's raced pretty close with, Webb, has got the better of him each kind of year. Now Joey's kind of there, but Webb keeps getting the titles and the wins.
Yeah. So you got the history there with Savacci. Any other history that he has with any other riders, I feel like this is going to be their last little kind of nudge. If they can give him a nudge or slow him down or make life a little bit harder on him, this is going to be the last dose of it. Because if he goes into Vegas with a 15-point gap, say he gets second, say Eli wins and the two gets second, he goes into Vegas with a pretty healthy lead. Dude, he can ride around in seventh all day long, and
I think I had 13 maybe. 13 in 97. I came into Vegas. I think it was 13 points. If McGrath won, I needed an 8th. I didn't like it though. Of the 4 professional titles like that I had won, it was probably my least favorite. Like that final race, it was just like having to kind of just.
What'd you get?
I think I got 4th. I started like first, second with Henry, and then it was like, oh, nobody touched me. And then like the hoopties were these little like total blue groove. You remember, you were there, you rode. Just like, I was like, but it wasn't like, because the 2 championships that I'd won before that in motocross, 125 and 250, I had to win both motos at the final race to win the title. So it was like blinders on, just have to win. And it's I get goosebumps thinking about it right now. It's such a like, so awesome to like be able to have lived that and have those memories, and just going in that you have to win it, and milking it, like kind of conserving it, like kind of I didn't like it.
I was in that.
I was happy with the outcome. Don't get me wrong.
Thank goodness I was only in that position one time where I had to win the championship. That was 2006 Supercross title. I had to beat Chad Reed.
Well, you had to beat Reed and not and Stewart. If Stewart won and you got third,
I had to get second to Stewart and beat Chad Reed.
Yeah, and that's the way it went down.
Stewart first, but I can tell you, It's so much easier when you have a little.
Yeah, but dude,
I know what you're saying. I'm glad I only had to experience that one time.
Hey, I remember it like it was yesterday. So I was watching Denny Stevenson and Ralph were calling the race, and I ran down to the track, and you pulled off the track, and your helmet was off. You went to do a parade lap, and I still remember you're like, dude, I fucking did it, man. And we like hugged it out, and I remember just the look on your face was. I've never seen anything like it. Just you're like, I think you were amazed that you did it, but your excitement and like the sense of accomplishment.
Yeah,
I was so happy for you.
In the past, Reed had just worked me so many years. So like I knew I was going to Vegas behind the 8 ball, and I literally, and dude, I've never been like mental throughout my career where I have to talk myself into doing shit. Most of the time, I just relied on my hard work and my racing knowledge to get me through. Well, this is the only time that I literally had to talk myself into it, to saying there's no way I'm letting this guy beat me, even though he is on record. He's beaten me there every single year that we've raced together, heads up. And so, yeah,
welcome to the real world with the rest of us,
dude.
The rest
of
us.
I hate it for you, but that's a shitty situation.
Oh man, yeah. Well, we got it done, dude. That was rad. That was such a cool race. To me, that was the best. Like, that was the most intense, most just prestigious championship battle because, I mean, the three of you guys, you have 5. So there's 9 championships between the 3 of you. It's pretty impressive. A lot of greatness. So anyway, right now, this season, we have 2 more races left, and none of these guys have won this class. None of these guys have ever won the Monster Energy Supercross Championship. So it's going to be a first for somebody. So, of course, we have the Supercross Research Department. He works overtime. He had Easter weekend to work with here.
You going to be able to read all this shit, man?
Man, I should have brought my glasses, dude. Here, why don't you read this one then? Because you got good eyes. Why don't you read the first one, and I'll go with the 2.
All right. So this is from the SX Research Department. He's been working overtime. We're getting down to the wire. And here's what we got for you today. In the 450 race, Cooper Webb leads Eli Tomac by 18 points. The championship leader in Supercross with 2 rounds to go has only failed to win the championship on on twice since the current point structure, parentheses, more or less, was introduced in 1986. And some of this was covered a few weeks back when we looked at the points lead changing hands with 3 to go. So consider this a refresher. Okay, has everyone got that? It's so there you go.
His spell check might be broken or the phrase.
Yeah, I think we'll cut him some slack. You know, maybe he had too much Easter candy or something. In 2017, Eli Tomac led Ryan Dungey by 3 points after a win in round 15 at Salt Lake City, but he faltered in the penultimate round, which, like this year, was also in New Jersey. Tomac finished 8th at MetLife Stadium, and Dungey won, which effectively handed the championship to Dungey. I'm gonna a little sidebar here. This is where our buddy on Twitter that says there's team orders, he's really gonna come in on this part right here. Mm-hmm. Okay, that part, which he clinched in the season finale in Las Vegas. And in 1992, Damon Bradshaw led the points by 3 over Jeff Stanton with 2 rounds to go, and then won the next to last round in San Jose to lead by 6 headed to the season finale. But Stanton won the last race of the year in L.A. while Bradshaw finished 5th, and Stanton stole the title, his 3rd in 4 years, but just 3 points. It's the only time that the points lead changed hands at the final round. Dude, you were there for that.
I was in the race. I was in the race, and I was in the race. I was riding 250s that year. That was my first year. And so the weekend before in San Jose, Bradshaw, I think he crashed in the first turn, came back to win the race. In the final race, it's the most baffling thing ever. He just locked up, and he gets off the front, Stanton's out front, and he was battling with Cooper. Cooper was riding like a wild man that he is, Guy Cooper. He kind of pumps up, and I'm watching. I can see it. I'm running like 6th.
Did you have any team orders?
Yeah, I was not allowed to pass him. No doubt about it.
See, the dude is right.
Yeah,
there's team orders.
Yeah. Well, the fact that I was even close to him was baffling because he was like, he could have lapped me twice that year. He was so fast. Well, he fades back, and it's like, boom, Kudrowski passes him, boom. So he comes back. So J&B was riding factory Honda, and him and Stanton didn't like each other. So Bradshaw's fading back to me and J&B. Well, J&B won't pass him. And I'm like, dude. So now J&B's literally riding around. I'm riding at full pace. And I catch him, and I'm like, I'm going to pass this dude. And J&B's like, get away. Stop. Like, just stop. And so I'm like, screw this. Well, he don't want to pass Bradshaw because he don't want Stanton to win the title. True story. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to pass J&B, and he's literally cruising around looking at me, and I'm just like pinned, thinking this is the greatest race of my career. Finally, he's like, okay, well, looks like Bradshaw's not gonna be able to do this. He passes Bradshaw and is gone, like in a split, like one lap. He's like 6 seconds ahead, right? And I'm stuck behind Bradshaw. And I remember just like seeing the signboards, like riding, behind Damon and seeing his signboard, and I'm just like, oh my God, what's happening?
Yeah, what do we do?
Yeah, and after the race, I remember, so our box vans, we had box vans that year. Our box vans were getting worked on, so we had this big, like, empty 18-wheeler trailer that our team was working out of for that. And I remember coming back to the truck, and Brian Lunas was Damon's mechanic. And Lunas is such a competitive guy. I mean, he won championships with Hannah, Rick Johnson, whatnot.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He was literally like throwing hammers in the semi. Like, nobody go in there. Like, he's
come on, dude, with throwing hammers.
Like stuff, yeah. Like stuff was getting thrown, and it's like, don't go in there. Dude, you lose the championship in the final race. Yeah. Nobody likes that.
But this is important, and then we'll move on to 250. No rider has given up a double-digit point lead like Webb has in the last 2 rounds in Supercross history. So if Webb didn't pull it off,
that should say like Webb has now.
Yeah.
Dude, are we gonna have to do? Hey, maybe we can join the research department.
He gives us a good deal. He gives us a good deal. We're gonna cut him some slack.
We do get a discount on all this.
We appreciate that, Supercross Research Department.
Yeah, definitely make sure you follow SX Research Department on Instagram for all the stats and all the info if you're not already hip to it. So, well,
you want to read the 250s?
I'm not sure I can. Oh, this one's a bigger text, so I think I can see it. Yeah. So anyway, the fourth, man, this thing is bugging me big time here.
Dude, get this sort. See, they're gonna make our listeners and people who watch this on YouTube. They're gonna make fun of you again.
I know.
Well,
if I had just worn the headphones, it'd be all right. Right
there.
Hello,
are you?
Hello, can you hear me? Miguel's like, what? Yeah. Wait, hold on, what?
Yeah, your producer's freaking out.
So. Right now. All right, so now we go to MetLife. So we have 250 East. In the 250 East Championship, Faulkner had it in the bag with a 26-point lead. That's a full race with 3 rounds to go, with 5 wins of the first 6 races. Did I leave something out there?
Wait, okay.
It just ends.
In the 250 East Championship, Austin Faulkner had it in the bag with a 26-point lead, a full race.
Oh, okay.
With 3 rounds to go.
There, I got it. So Justin Cooper finished 3rd. And now the points are super tight. Faulkner's lead is down to 3 over Sexton, 7 over Cooper, with his status still very much in doubt heading into Jimmy Hoffa's final resting place. You don't even know who Jimmy Hoffa was, right? He's the leader of the Teamsters. Watch the movie with Jack Nicholson, Hoffa.
Really?
Oh, epic. Oh, yeah, dude, you got it. Yeah, got to watch it. So that's a little entertainment trivia there that he's throwing in. If Faulkner can't go this weekend because of the knee, is it an ACL tear or something?
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
Or races, or if he's not at full strength, the East Championship, which looked done and dusted just 2 weeks ago, could go any of 3 ways. Think about that.
Yeah.
Think about that, and none of those 3 have won the title. That's the great thing about it. None of our title contenders in any of the 3 classifications have won their respective title.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, so the last time the 250 points leader with 2 rounds to go didn't win the championship was 5 years ago in 2014. Martin Davalos looked to be in the position to win his first career championship in just his 37th year in the – no, 37th 9th full year. ninth full year. The Ecuadorian led Justin Bogle by 8 points with 2 to go. Heading into the penultimate round, also in New Jersey, which was the inaugural race at MetLife Stadium. But in the week leading up to East Rutherford race, Davalos suffered a broken ankle, which put him on the sidelines for the final 2 rounds and handed the championships to the Okie, Justin Bogle.
I remember that.
Your former rider, who had a kick-ass race in Denver, by the way.
Yes.
Congratulations, dude. You rode amazing.
The last several weeks, he's been. I mean, his speed has really amped up. He's had some really solid rides. So
Starts of that.
You know, dude, he's been down and out for 2 years, and he's been in that rut. I mean, just really questioning himself. You know, maybe his ability. You get in those places, and to see him starting to prosper, and you can see his confidence is starting to rise again to where it once was. That he's like, dude, I can do this shit. Yeah. I'm the same guy that won the East Coast round, you know, the East Coast championship. It's cool to see his confidence rising again.
Yeah. So all the guys, Michael Byrne and all the team there at Rocky Mountain ATV.com. Yeah. Get ready. KTM,
Get ready.
WPS. They're doing a pretty kick-ass job. Okay. And so Bogle, man, he was riding the wheels off that thing. So I hope that continues. Okay, so he won that championship in 2014. So yes. The last time that the Lights East Championship lead changed hands on the track was in 2007. Yamaha's Ryan Morris led Kawasaki rider Ben Townley by 10 points with 2 to go, but Townley finished the season with a first and a second, while Morris finished 4th and 5th, a difference of 13 points, but more than enough to give the Kiwi Ben Townley his first and only Supercross Lights championship.
I remember that because he was riding here, living in Tally, just down the road with me, working with Eldon Baker, and he was my practice mate. And we thought the outdoors is where he's going to really sweep up, but that son of a gun ended up winning a regional Supercross championship, which was cool.
Good job.
Job,
one more title to add to the goat farm there. Guys are in a bit of a drought though right now. Need to get something going.
Yep, we do. Dude,
those guys work so hard down there, and your mom Jeannie.
Everybody does work hard, man. There's only one winner, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And especially at the top level, at the pinnacle of the sport. It's few and far between, man.
So the East has got 2 more races to go. Supercross has got 2 more, and then the West has 1.
I tell you what, that kicker for all these guys could be Vegas, the Showdown. That 250 Showdown, it's 4 points. Lots of points can be gained and lost, because obviously if you're an East Coast guy, you win, and then there's 3 Western regionals. I mean, dude, that's a lot of points. So
yeah, you could get second in your division, but it could be 3 or 4 riders in between you. Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. That's when we mix those 250 guys together. They haven't learned to play well with each other. They're still on the immature side. I mean, and speaking of that race, I mean, one of, I think, the most exciting championship battles, championship rides that I was ever to call the race or watch was also there at Vegas, was between Osborne and Savacci. One turn to go. Osborne just was not going to be denied. When he went down in the first turn, we're like, okay, he's done. And he showed the heart of a champion, and he rode the wheels off that thing and came back to win it. Knowing how the AMA/FIM, how they dole out penalties and all that, and then like that night, you didn't hear about Osborne getting a penalty for running into Savacci and taking him out. I mean, I heard that he had a $10,000 fine or something, but there certainly was no points changing hands, and that's where, not to get off the subject, but just when it comes to the rough riding in our sport, man, if we knew that, hey, if I take this guy out, I'm going to lose 10 points and 10 grand, you could weigh your options, but you could get no fine, or you could get disqualified. Like, you don't know. I know what the rule book says, but it just seems like it's a little bit inconsistent.
It's a judgment call, I think, most of the time.
Yeah. Well, nobody took the points away from Osborne that night. That was an amazing ride. So, any predictions right now with 2 to go? I don't
know. Let's check the weather. Have you checked the weather? Well, yours is always wrong. So
I don't know.
Whatever yours says, it normally does the opposite. So let's check the weather.
So far,
tell me what you got.
Webb has weathered the storm of your.
Can I say if he makes it out on the podium this weekend, he'll win the championship? Is that fair enough?
Yeah, for sure. What's the weather going? What's the weather like?
Okay, I'm looking here.
Rick,
Hey,
Rick, are you there?
Dude. Well, they're gonna get lucky. It's 90% on Friday and 0% on Saturday, 40% on Sunday.
Wow. So it's gonna rain Friday. Dirtworks crew and Feld, they'll have that track covered, sealed up. Probably already got it built, right? Have it sealed, and then sun on Saturday, rain on Sunday again.
What's your showing?
I just have like a storm cloud or a sun. Like, there's not much in between.
Oh, no wonder
You're probably connected to the National Weather Service in Colorado Springs or something, aren't you? Like direct line?
Oh, dude, I'm direct.
I'm just like, I'm whatever Apple wants to dish out to me right now. So should be fun. I don't know, man. I think.
There's a lot at stake. The 250. Is Faulkner going to be able to go? I mean, that's a massive storyline. If he's not able to go and can't compete.
But you can ride with a torn ACL once you get the information out, right?
It just, some guys can, some can't. That's the thing. I mean, some guys have done it for years.
Yeah, I was in Seattle a couple of years ago, and I think it was Canary. He was limping around, and something. I asked him, "Hey, how's the leg?" He's like, "Dude, I don't have MCL, ACL, this, that, the other." And I was like, "Wait, what?" He goes, "Oh yeah, I haven't. Those have been torn for years." And I'm like, "How do you ride?" He's like, "I just strap my knee brace on as tight as I can, and I go for it." I'm like, "Wow, I was a real pussy when I did my ACL. I was like out for like 4 months."
Yeah, I went for the last ACL I tore was in 2003 September, the beginning of September, and I only made it until right around Thanksgiving, and then from popping out so many times, I had to have it fixed. I got to where I couldn't walk. But I raced the Motocross of Nations with it torn, and had one of my personal best rides at Motocross of Nations. That was in Zolder, Belgium.
So it can happen. It can happen for 4.
Oh, no, it can happen, and you can bet he's going to do everything. He has to. It's for the championship, dude. The problem is he's got to go on to Vegas.
Yeah, if it was one race, it would be one thing, but it's only 5 points also. That's the difference between first and third.
Yeah.
So he wins in the event of a tie. He's already won more races than anybody else can, but he still has to go perform, right? Yeah.
He's going to have to perform. So there's a story there. Everybody needs to tune in, watch it, and then, of course, we all know about the 450s. If you're Cooper Webb and you're coaching him, you just got to tell him, dude, you got to keep doing what you're doing. Put yourself in good spots. Make sure you watch over your shoulder because, you have to ride super defensive and trust no one. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, don't you think?
Yeah, and then we'll catch up with the boys on the West here in a couple of weeks once we get to Vegas. They've had to sit there and wait it out a few weeks. It's bad enough having Easter weekend off and having to think about it, but having a few weekends off is rough.
I guess it's a good situation to be in as far as you're still in it for the title. So
just like all my boys at Liverpool there. The Man City Liverpool thing is hot
seriously?
and heavy. Oh yeah, dude, it is full on right now. It's
seriously.
Full on right now.
Yeah. Take that sticker off of there.
No way. Not happening.
Dude. Yeah. Are you okay, man? Seriously, I'm getting concerned.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
So Fro comes to my place and last last summer. We had a little weekend together.
Oh, they're at the house you're talking. That was Labor Day.
With some buddies. No. And anyhow, all you wanted to do was watch. You call it football. I call it soccer.
It's Premier League football, English Premier League. Yeah.
Okay.
Should check it out. It's actually on NBC. So if you were a good NBC company man, you would be pumping it right now, because they have Supercross promos going on Saturday mornings during Premier League on NBC. Should check it out sometime.
Premier League football.
Hey, I converted. Hey, I'm a Florida Seminole now. Went to my first college football game ever last year.
Dude, wasn't it epic?
It was epic up until the game started and Florida State got their ass handed to them.
Yeah.
Remember that Virginia Tech? All the dudes were taking flops. It was so weird. I'm like, this is college football. This is really odd. Yeah. Anyway, hey, since you always complain that I try to control the show, I'm gonna let you take the listener questions.
Oh, thank you.
You can take all.
So the first one is from Twitter, Adam Rodkey. He says, how much of a factor was the altitude in Denver? Do they have to set the bikes up differently? How much of an advantage did Tomac have from being from altitude?
He's from Cortez.
Yes. Yeah. Also, has there ever been a snow race in Supercross? All right. So, yes, they alter the bikes for altitude. Nowadays, with electronic fuel injection, it automatically adjusts. However, they will do things like change the compression ratio on the engine. They can change gearing. Sometimes because the bikes are a little bit slower, it will affect the suspension. But from a horsepower standpoint, there's a few things they do to try to get that power back that they are used to having when they're racing at sea level. When I was watching them, it didn't look like they were really that much slower. I had an opportunity to talk to Savacci afterwards, and he's like, dude, you wouldn't have believed. With all the technology they have, still they could really feel the power deficiency. And I was like, no kidding. He's yeah, dude, it was a big difference. So
what about his body? Did he say that it felt any different?
Oh, he was super sore. Yeah, I mean, like, we flew home together, and his back was sore because he had to compensate so much because of his shoulder. So he's using like his core and back more.
Yeah, but like cardiovascularly, did that have any?
Oh, sorry. He didn't say much about that.
Well, who would have had a problem would have been Jason Anderson, because he has altitude sickness actually, and when he had went to Lakewood last year for the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross, or the year before, he actually had a little bit of issue with that. I mean, that would have been a situation where he literally would have came in late Friday night, done the race, and then tried to leave. So in his as I understand it, in his situation, that would have been a major, major difference.
So the second part of this question, did how much of an advantage did Tomac have? I don't know from a percentage standpoint, but I definitely think it didn't hurt his situation of he lives real close where he practices his farm there. The altitude is very similar to where the race took place, so it's just more comforting for him. The bike is the same as how he practices on it, so definitely it's an advantage.
Did you get winded at track walk, or was it just because it was snowing and it was a little bit tougher?
Well, I never made it past the start straight on track walk.
Now you're getting wise. Everybody's like, hey, do you walk the track?
Well, I'm sorry. I'm going to get my Jim Holly used to do in our day when you try to get little sound bites. Dude, he'd stand right out where all the riders are walking onto the track and catch us there.
Yeah. Well, that's what they got to do. And then, has there ever been a snow race? I think we talked about it, but
yeah, you talked about this, Jeff. I've never witnessed one, but go ahead.
Yeah, it was Salt Lake. I think Wilson mentioned it last week on the Wilson interview. He didn't race, but it had snowed in Salt Lake, and it started snowing during the main events. It was super cold. So, Adam, thanks for your question, buddy.
Okay, next one. At DX Christensen, Derek. What's some of your favorite music these days? What was your favorite music to listen to back when you were racing? So for me personally, riding with the kids most of the time. I listen to top 40 once in a while. Try to sneak in some country on them. And as of let's see here, these days, I was saying the last month, dude, I've been on a classic rock kick, like The Who and Boston and 38 Special,
dude,
Zeppelin, that genre. Dude, I've been like Rolling Stones. I've really been into that lately. That genre of music, it just is so good to me right now.
Dude, so Jagger, when he was little, he had this Beatles thing. He listened to all the Beatles. He knew every catalog, front to back, everything. Then he got on like a Blink 182 kind of a punk kick. Now he's into this marshmallow dude. You seen the video I put with the marshmallow on his head, like the foam marshmallow face, the marshmallow head?
Bevo's son is on tour with Marshmello, right?
No. So
he runs all the lighting and stuff.
So this is what I'm listening to all the way to school today. Like just full on, just like
techno.
Yeah. They probably call it something different, the millennials and centennials and everything. So I'm driving to school this morning, and I'm like, dude, every time. So I got the button on the volume on the steering wheel, so I'm turning it down a little bit, and then I'll see him reach over and he'll turn it up, and I'll just have my hand there, and I'll just kind of move my hand, and I'll turn it back down, and he's kind of like, and then I'll reach over and turn it up. He's cranking it going to school today. I'm like,
so that's Derek. That's what.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's when I was racing. Same kind of stuff, dude. I mean, I'm all over the board. I really like all genres of music. Fro and I both. I could speak for Fro on this one. Yeah, just honestly, it depends on the mood, where we're at, and really the vibe,
the atmosphere
around us.
Haven't you went to see Pavarotti and stuff too, haven't you? Isn't that his name?
No. Come on, man.
I thought you were into that, all the piano and all the opera and all that. Not opera. I don't know what that would be considered.
I am, actually. I went and saw Andrea Bocelli.
Bocelli, that's who I'm thinking of. Pavarotti's probably dead.
It was actually
I don't
insane.
even know who the dude is. Is that right?
Yeah,
who's that, Miguel? Do you know who that is? Is he
Andrea
still alive?
Bocelli was an awesome, awesome show.
Can you sing like that?
So I know people are going to bag on me and give me shit for listening to that. But, dude, honestly, I like it all. I think the biggest thing, not necessarily liking it all, I appreciate.
Yeah.
I appreciate the music.
Oh, I've seen you on your boat. You had a lot of appreciation for some different music at times. And then you got your lady that always turns, like she's got like the stereo set to go to 10. She takes it to 11.
So I had to go run an errand or something. And Jeff and my girlfriend and there's some other people at the house, and I'm like, hey, let's just leave the radio. I got to go run an errand real quick. I'll be back. Just leave the radio, the outside radio, at the volume it's at right now.
And it was loud.
Yeah, like it was loud. Like I was already going to go back to the amps and like adjust the amps just in case anyone took the notion to turn it up. I'm like, Jeff, make sure no one turns this up because my girlfriend loves loud music. And I come back and Jeff didn't take my advice.
Dude, I don't even know where it's at. I don't even know where the volume's at.
As soon as I left, did she go turn it up?
I don't know. We need to teach her what distortion is. She doesn't know, like when it's like overdrive and it's like too high, she just turns it just to 11. Just 10's loud, but let's go one more. And then I'm kind of like, man, this is like the neighbors don't give a shit about this. Like I know you got a little bit of space on each side. I'm just like, this place was rocking. It was like being at rehab or something at the Hard Rock in Vegas. And it's just like two or three of us back there.
Come back after running an errand. I'm just like, oh, man.
Well, okay, but on the boat, who blows the speakers out on the boat? Who has to buy new speakers every season? That's you.
Well, that's the crazy thing is like at home, she'll run it louder than I would prefer to run it. But when we're on the boat, it's reversed. Dude, I crank that thing on the boat, man.
It's so much fun, though.
Just
going through the catalog as the day goes along. Everybody out there, they know.
You kind of muffle my my karaoke skills too a little bit because the radio's so loud.
Little Florida Georgia line. You've got that down pretty good.
Oh yeah. So okay, last one.
Hold on. I didn't get to say my stuff.
Oh,
that's okay. That's okay. You just take it, Ricky.
Well, the next one I really like. Our man here, Guitar Malad. He says,
Guitar Malad. I love it.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Who beats who these days on the track? Fro or RC? I mean, do we even got to have that?
We don't. I can't hardly see anymore. The last time,
the last time. Got a new one.
No. The last time that I really truly felt like we had something going. Remember when Don made it at Transworld, who's now Swap Moto Live, which is a great podcast, by the way. I recorded one last week. Amazing. Yeah, super cool. They set up the Showdown. Remember? So we were doing when we did the media launch for the Fox Instinct boot. We went up to up there where Carrie's at.
Not Castillo Ranch.
No, not Castillo's, but I can't think of it. Anyway.
Zaka
Station. It was set up, so we were doing a whole video. We're gonna have a showdown. We're gonna see who can run, who can run the pace. It was so wet and muddy that it was really hard to even follow behind anybody, and it was like one line around the track.
Dude, how deep was it? Remember how deep it was?
It was so deep. And I was actually riding a lot where I'm like, okay, I could probably hold my own. Okay. And that's it. That's as far as I was going. And then
how's that wire there, dude?
It's just killing me. And that day, the third gear chipped in my bike. The third gear was actually chipped. Hey, so you know where you do that first step up? I misshifted there. I misshifted. No bullshit. This is a true story. I was ready for what you had to deliver.
Does everybody see what I deal with?
Okay, but that being said, Guitar Malad, Ricky, by far, can take that crown right now. And I don't see him ever handing it back to me. Ever.
You know what, dude?
I'm 48 years old. You've got 10 years on me.
We could have a bro off. Are you doing the Fox launch?
Wednesday. Yeah. Yeah. The new V3 launch?
It's
not this Wednesday. Yeah, the next Wednesday, I mean.
No, the one in June.
Oh, I'll be there, I'm sure.
Oh, you didn't get invited?
Dude, I'm probably hosting the thing. I do double duty with Fox Racing and Shift MX.
Okay.
Fox helmet boot goggles, you know.
Well, I was going to say we could have a bro off then.
Okay, we'll do it.
Do you think you could beat me if I rode a 250 and you were on a 450?
No, because I go slower on a 450. I could whoop your ass on a 150 two-stroke Husqvarna, though. Stock suspension.
Really?
Stock brakes. Although this time I will take my seat if I'm. You were gonna ride without a seat, but I prefer to have a seat. Yeah, let's both get on 125s and see who's got what.
Dude, you ain't sitting in super glue. Let's go.
Okay, we'll get one. The only problem is if you get a Suzuki 125. I think the last year they made one was like 2003. So go for it.
All right, I'm on the search right now. We'll do it.
Hey, we need any of the fans out there that are listening that have a mint RM 125 for Ricky to ride. It has to have stock suspension. It's got to be all stock.
You think it'll be as mint as that KX 250 our man brought you at Red Bud?
Oh my God, that was the most embarrassing whole 24 hours of my life, dude. Massive autograph session Friday afternoon before Red Bud. They staged this two-stroke race. Ricky's riding, Stanton, I don't know, Larocco, the Hoop. Yeah, a bunch of people. So Tim and Amy Ritchie, who own Red Bud, dear friends, they say, hey, we got a bike. He's got a really good KX250 for you. And last year, the Kawasaki made them was like 05, 06, something like that. All the 250s are old at that point, right? What year was that? 09, 10?
I think you had it it was like a 07 or something like that, dude.
No, not the what year was this of the race?
Oh. It was 09 to 09, 010.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
09, 10, 2010, yeah.
So this guy, I'm like, hey, got it all set up. Do you need any parts for the bike? So I shipped him whatever he needed. I go, Kawasaki will ship you everything you want. Brand new plastics. You need clutches, pistons, anything, whatever. Chain, sprocket, tires. Just set this bike up, make it right. Guys, I got it handled. So I never met the guy before, and bless his heart, he worked really hard on it and everything. I will give him that, and I appreciate the effort that he put into it. So we're doing an autograph session. It's all the current racers. Ricky and I are there, Stanton, some other guys. Massive autograph session at the track on Friday evening. All of a sudden, you hear this two-stroke come riding down the road. Dude. And there's a few hundred fans, minimum, 500 fans.
Packed.
And all of a sudden, here comes this bike, comes riding around where all the athletes are signing autographs. He rolls in behind me and starts revving the thing up and blowing it out. Remember?
Yeah.
And I look back.
Yeah, I remember, yes.
And I looked back, and it was, hey, I got your bike for you. And it was like, oh, my God. Like, you got, like, just shut it off, right?
You tried to.
Yeah, no, I mean, I appreciate that. Once again, I really appreciate the effort that he put in, but it was like, yeah.
He was happy, dude.
I knew he was. So then so everything's set up. Check out the bike. Okay, cool. So we got it under the Cowie rig on Saturday. Big B at Cowie was like, hey, I'm going to be your mechanic. We're all kind of playing up this two-stroke race. We're setting and staging, doing photos. Everyone's having a good time. Man, this can be super fun, right? You had your bike. Stanton had a good bike, and so I had this borrowed bike. I have no idea what the performance or anything is. I don't know what the suspension spec is or nothing, and I got to go ride a national track. True story, and I know you think this is bullshit that I was dodging you, but that's not the case. So I'm like, go to do a start. Dude, we're Saturday morning at a national. There's 20,000 people there. I go to take off to do a start. The clutch is fried. I'm like, oh my God. I ride a lap or two, and then I'm like, shit, this isn't going to work. And I come in and I'm like, dude, well, the clutch is smoked. He's like, oh, what are you talking about? It was good. I'm like, dude, I would have given you parts or whatever you needed. That was it. End of story. I was out. And then I got Ricky giving me shit saying I was dodging him.
No, see, this is what he neglects to tell you guys. Is the clutch wasn't burned because you did that frickin' double in the back.
Yeah.
Well, dude, if it was as bad as you're saying, you wouldn't have been able.
Yeah, no. The big double? No, I didn't. The one that's like up the hill about a quarter of the way around the track? I didn't do that. I did the tabletop going from out to the parking lot. I did that, but it was like, yeah, full slippage, bro. And then you're coming around and you're jumping Larocco's leap. And I'm like, I can barely even get up the hill at this point. So
you were so bummed. You were so bummed when
I was looking
my
forward
clutch
to it.
Is smoked.
I was looking for look, dude. Even on that day, I knew I wasn't gonna be able to run with you. Okay,
it was just gonna be fun.
We're gonna go have fun. I really embraced the whole moment. Tim and Amy, and even I can't remember the guy's name who brought the bike to me. Like, put out a lot of effort to do that, and then to have something as simple as, hey, we could have put a new clutch in it, it'd have been fine. So I kind of missed the whole experience of it all. So I was really bummed for that. But I did get on the mic and I called the race while you guys were out there having fun. At least I was on the mic. But that was, yeah. If we race together right now, the only chance that I have of even keeping you in sight is if you ride a 125. I mean, I'll be on a 150, of course, because we make a 150. Husqvarna makes a 150 kit to bolt onto your 125, give it that little bit of extra oomph. But you got to ride a 125. So if you can if we got some fans that can step it up, you can come to the 125 Dream Race up on Washougal late August.
No, I'm not doing it. No, we're going to do it at Fox Raceway is where we're going to do it.
Okay. All right.
Hey, that's your home turf, too, by the way. So I'm going to have to come and kick your ass on your home turf.
Just scroll back through my Instagram to the ODI Grip Day, and you'll see a little bit of how that Husqvarna 150 performs there. So you know what sort of level you need to get to by the time you make. I wouldn't want you to make the 6-hour flight out here and not be prepared.
I'm gonna preparate. You like that?
Dude, the clock's at 0. I'm sure I'm gonna get the board from Arne here anytime. We appreciate everybody. Adam, Derek, Guitar Malade. Thanks for your questions. Thanks to everybody for checking us out this week, especially tuning in to the Dean Wilson interview from Faye Meyer's Motorcycle World. It's been fun, dude. Another good podcast. I enjoy my Tuesday mornings.
Yeah, we got to
with
start
you.
making
Download
longer
it.
time for this. We got to start making longer time.
We can get us a sponsor. We can buy more studio time here from
That's
Orange
right.
County Production Studios here in Irvine.
You know what, though? At the same time, yeah, sponsor would be great, but I'm just thankful that we can we get to get on here and talk about what we love to do.
Hey.
We don't have to depend on doing it. It's a lot of fun, man.
Hey, Dennis Rodman does his podcast from right here. Maybe we could just double up some time. We can jump on that podcast with Dennis. What do you think, Arne? That's an interesting podcast if you haven't listened to it.
No, I'll leave it. Go watch Lance Armstrong's podcast with Charles Barkley.
So
insane. Good. Oh, dude.
So
awesome.
fun.
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah. Well, I love being a part of this podcast world here. We appreciate everybody for listening and all of your listener questions and all that. Any final words, Ricky?
No, you took the words out of my mouth. We're having a good time. We're going to start loading up on some guests here. Make it fun for you guys also. So anybody that you want that you would like to hear us talk with, send us a note.
Yeah, we've got some stuff lined up in the summertime. Some guests that aren't specifically from the motocross world, so it's going to be pretty fun. So, Hey, you guys, obviously send your questions and everything to at Talk447 on Twitter, at Ricky Carmichael, at Emig47. And thanks again, Ricky. Have a good day, buddy.
Thank you, bud.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. So Miguel's going to take us out with our buddy, Andrew McKeague Band, and This Old Life. Living this old life. Thanks, everybody.
That was better.
That was better? Thanks.